Hey, how's it going, do-it-yourselfers? Today we're going to talk about whether or not you can clean an oxygen sensor. Now this video is to answer a question that was submitted through the comment section by a subscriber. However, the way you've landed on this video might have been you getting a check engine light, plugging in the scanner, checking out the code. It's something related to the oxygen sensor. So here you are wondering if you can just clean an oxygen sensor, put it back in on your engine, and go on your way. Now before we get to whether you can do that or not, it's very important that you know or have a basic understanding of how the oxygen sensor works, because a lot of times there's no point in wasting your time trying to clean these. It just needs to be replaced. But it's going to depend on the code you're getting. Alright, so most oxygen sensors these days are going to have 4 wires. 2 of these wires are going to be for the heating circuit inside your oxygen sensor. The other 2 are going to be for the sensing circuit or the sensing element of your oxygen sensor. Now your oxygen sensor is a voltage producing sensor. It produces voltage on its own, and its job is to measure the oxygen molecules that are coming out of your engine and the exhaust system, and to produce a varying voltage reading based on how much oxygen molecules it's sensing in your exhaust fumes. And it does that by using the oxygen molecules normally in the atmosphere as a reference. The greater the difference between the amount of oxygen molecules in the atmosphere relative to the oxygen molecules coming out of your engine, the larger the voltage your oxygen sensor will produce. So as you can see, your oxygen sensor screws right in here. This part down is going to be inside your exhaust system. This part out is going to be outside of the exhaust pipe. Now on some oxygen sensors, you're going to have holes up here up top where the oxygen sensor can take in the air that's outside and use that as reference to the air that's inside your exhaust system. But on other oxygen sensors like the one I'm holding here, the referenced air is sealed and locked inside the oxygen sensor. And that's what 2 of these wires are for. One for sending the voltage signal to your car's PCM. The other one is going to be your sensor ground. Now in order for your oxygen sensor to work efficiently, it has to reach an operating temperature. Now when you start your car, it's going to take it a while to reach that operating temperature. All the while it's not going to be working efficiently and you're going to be wasting a lot of gas. That's where the heating circuit inside your oxygen sensor comes in. And basically that's what the other 2 wires are for. One's going to supply power, the other one ground. They're going to heat up the heating circuit or the heating element inside your oxygen sensor, heat up your oxygen or the sensing element faster in order for it to work more efficient and startup. Now here's why knowing that is important, because when you get an oxygen sensor code on your car, the code is going to be either related to the heating circuit of the oxygen sensor. Now based on how many oxygen sensors you have and your setup, there might be many different codes, but it's going to mention the heating circuit in that code. Or you're going to get a code regarding the sensing circuit of your oxygen sensor. If you get a code regarding the heating circuit or the heating element of your oxygen sensor, you're more than likely going to have to replace your oxygen sensor in order to get rid of that code. However, there could be problems with the wiring or the fuse. You might have an open or a short. Although very uncommon, that could be your problem and not the heating circuit of the oxygen sensor. But 90% of the time, the problem is going to be with the heating circuit or the heating element inside your oxygen sensor, and the only way you can remedy that is to replace the oxygen sensor. So knowing that is important, because otherwise you might spend a whole bunch of time trying to clean an oxygen sensor that simply has a bad heating element. Now on the other hand, if you get a code regarding the sensing element or the sensing circuit of your oxygen sensor and you're wondering if you can clean it or not. Actually, before I answer that, do me a huge favor and help me in achieving 1 million subscribers. We're up to 800,000 subscribers now, and you don't want to miss the party when I get to 1 million subscribers. There'll probably be strippers involved, I won't lie. All right, now as far as the sensing element of your oxygen sensor, this is not the sensing element of your oxygen sensor. This is just the cover. The sensing element is actually inside this. Now, as far as how the sensing element of your oxygen sensor can go bad, well, for starters, it can crack or break. It's going to be obvious if that happens, because you can just shake it and you can hear it rattling around inside this cover. Other ways is simple, wear and tear, whereas the exhaust fumes just take their toll on the sensing element, they erode it, and then it's not working like it's supposed to. And of course, another way that goes bad is that if you have a car that's burning a lot of oil, maybe you're using poor quality gas, or your car is running rich all the time, you have too much carbon buildup or gunk, whereas it's clogging this cover and not allowing exhaust fumes to get into the inside of this cover to the sensing element. Now in the case that you have so much gunk on your sensor where it has clogged up this hole up top and or these holes on the bottom where exhaust gases can't get to the inside of this cover to the sensing element. The odds are the sensing element inside of this cover is also completely covered with gunk. Now, even if you were to completely clean the outside of this sensor with some carb cleaner, get this carb cleaner in there, flush it out, do all sorts of cleaning, wire brushing, and the outside of this thing, you are very unlikely to be able to get the gunk out from the inside of this cover and which are on the sensing element of this sensor. Now, if you really wanted to go at cleaning the inside of this sensor, what I would do is let this soak in some carb cleaner for a little bit, take it out, spray it, let it soak again, rinse and repeat a couple of times, try to get as much of the gunk out as possible. However, you're very unlikely to be able to get, most of it out. A lot of it's still going to be on the sensor. You could put it back on the car. It might work okay for a little while, but then it can quickly clog up again and you're back to square one. Now, if you really want to clean your oxygen sensor, I recommend you do it before it goes bad. You can clean your pre-cat or upstream oxygen sensor every 25,000-30,000 miles. Your pre-cat or upstream oxygen sensor is the one that's usually responsible for your fuel trims. If you keep that clean when working efficiently, you're gonna increase the odds of running at optimum engine operations, or in other words, having the best MPG that you can have from your engine. Because once you get it to the point where your oxygen sensor or the sensing element is dirty and poisoned, or it's completely clogged up, even if you clean it, put it back on the engine, turn on your car, and the check engine light doesn't come on, it's still not working properly. It's going to be working very poorly, and your gas mileage is going to suffer, and you might have saved some money from not replacing your oxygen sensor for a little bit, really, but you're going to be paying a lot of money out of your pocket due to having poor gas mileage. So just to simplify things, if you get a check engine light regarding the heating circuit of your oxygen sensor, you're probably going to have to replace it. Now, if you get a check engine light regarding the sensing element of your oxygen sensor, you can try cleaning it. However, you should know that even if you succeed in getting rid of the check engine light, you are more than likely going to have to deal with it pretty soon. Also, you're losing money on labor if you have to pay someone to take it out, clean it, and put it back in, or time if you're doing it yourself. And also, you're losing some money on, less than optimal gas mileage, let's say. So you want to calculate all of that, see if it's worth cleaning that oxygen sensor, or it might, most of the time it's just going to be better just to replace it. All right, now you might be saying, hey, ratchets and wrenches, enough already. You convinced me. I'm just going to replace my oxygen sensor. I'm not going to bother cleaning it. Hold on a minute. Before you do that, you want to do a couple of things and make sure there's no electrical problems with the wiring or the connector on the harness side. Because this thing might be working right, but if you have electrical problems on this side, on the harness side, it doesn't matter if you replace this, you're going to be back to square one. And if you want to learn how to do that, I recommend you check out this video. I'll put a link to it on this corner. There's going to be a link to another video down below that you can check out. And again, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, because you don't want to miss that party when I hit 1 million subscribers. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.